Hi, I'm Dan Hayden, and this is the Positive Legacy Podcast for Christian fathers. Ever have one of those evenings where it just feels like everything your family has going on is just one logistical operation's gone sideways? One kid needs to be at practice, another has band, someone forgot their cleats, dinner's half cooked, and your wife just snaps. Why am I the only one who knows what's going on around here? Am I taking crazy pills? Then for you, you feel that surge inside. Frustration starts to rise. You start to get a little defensive and maybe even just a little shame. And then suddenly it's not just about the schedule anymore. It's now you versus her, tension instead of teamwork. We're going to talk about how to bring this sage perspective into one of the most stressful parts of modern family life. Managing a busy household with multiple kids, with multiple activities, all without turning on each other. Let's start with a simple contrast. On a busy night with sports, homework, youth group, dinner, and work email buzzing on your phone, two different marriages can live in the same house. The saboteur marriage sounds kind of like this. Your judge says, she's just overreacting. He never helps enough. Your controller says, if they did it my way, everything would work out just fine. Your victim saboteur says, no one appreciates anything I do. And your pleaser says, I'm just going to say yes to everything. I'll probably resent it later. It's all good. That energy is me versus you. It's keeping score. It's who's working harder at this tonight. A sage marriage in this same chaos sounds something like this. Hey, we're both exhausted, but I'm glad we're on the same team. Something about how we're doing this isn't working. What can we learn from this? And as always, what's the gift or the opportunity hiding in this crazy season? The sage perspective says every point of tension in your marriage can be turned into a gift or an opportunity for deeper understanding, for better systems, and stronger connection. Same kids, same schedule, same stress. But with sage, tension becomes a raw material for teamwork instead of a wedge between you and your wife. Let me take you out of this theory and into my own house. This was last Wednesday. No joke. I have a Zoom meeting I can't miss. Two daughters have youth group at church, and we're picking up a friend along the way. One daughter has volleyball practice, all on the other side of town. I guess my son, sorry, buddy, you're on your own tonight. On paper, we have a plan. We know who's driving where, who's picking up who's dropping off who, all that good stuff. But then real life shows up. And then we remember we're down to one car. So I'm taking the two daughters to church while my oldest gets ready for volleyball. I have to drop them off, race home from my Zoom call, and hope my other daughter is ready for volleyball practice. My wife, on the other hand, has to take our oldest to volleyball practice once I get home, hang out there for a bit, then pick the other kids up from church, bring the friend home, drop everyone off, and run back down to volleyball and hopefully not be late picking her up. And the volleyball daughter? Yeah, she has an hour of homework and a sink full of dishes waiting for her when she gets home. Okay, off we go. Come on, kids, load up. Time for church. Wait, there's more. Traffic is worse than expected. Halfway to church, we realize we forgot to pick up her friend, and hopefully my other daughter is getting packed for volleyball. I'm watching the clock, and I'm feeling the tension rise. In my saboteur days, this is where my controller and my judge would take over. My inner script sounded like this. Hey, dummy, you knew you were picking her up. How could you miss that turn? I swear if she's not ready for volleyball by the time I get home, she's losing her phone. On the outside, it sounds something like this. It's a sharp tone, heavy sighs, acting like a martyr, or clamping down and barking orders. Come on, let's go. Get out of the car. We got to go. All right, hey, enjoy church. My wife's saboteurs would respond in kind, her own judge, and maybe a little victim as well. Seriously? Where is he? I have to bring this one to volleyball. It went from us versus the schedule to me versus you in about 30 seconds. The kids felt it. They didn't see partners. They saw parents turning on each other under pressure. What transformed that night for us wasn't a perfect plan. It was how we chose to show up for each other. Because in reality, same Wednesday night, same car, same youth group, volleyball, friend pickup, homework, dishes, all the things. I'm halfway to church when I realize I just blew right past the turn of my daughter's friend's house. Then I feel it. Chest tightening, little heat rising in my face, the urge to call myself an idiot and just start blaming everyone else. That's my cue. My saboteurs are now online. In my head, I name it. Okay, that's my controller freaking out about being late. That's my judge calling me a dummy for missing that turn. Right then and there in the car with the girls in the back seat, I do a quick PQ rep. One slow, intentional breath, feel the hands on the steering wheel, silently pray, Holy Spirit, help me be a teammate for my wife and a leader for my kids right now. That 10 to 15 seconds doesn't fix traffic. It changes my posture. Instead of snapping, hey, why didn't you remind me to turn? You know where she lives just like I do. I own it. Okay, hey, look, that one's on me. Completely missed the turn. We're going to be a few minutes late. Send her a text and let her know, okay? By the time I dropped the kids off at church, race home from my Zoom, the old me would have walked in with strong martyr energy. You have no idea what I just went through. Now, my first priority is our connection. In our house, every time one of us comes home, we make it a point to greet each other with a hug for at least 5 seconds, no matter what else is happening. That's our reset. It's 5 seconds. So I walk in, put my bag down, and go straight to my wife. We hug. 5 slow seconds. On the outside, it just looks like affection. On the inside, I'm doing PQ reps the whole time. I'm feeling her shoulders under my hands, noticing my breath start to slow, letting my nervous system settle. Whether she knows it or not, and I'm pretty sure she suspects it, that hug is shifting me from scattered and frantic to calm and present. Then, instead of dumping stress and criticism, I give her a quick status update. Hey, sorry I'm a few minutes late. I missed the turn on Rochester, but at least I got everybody to church. I know your route tonight is going to be a little crazier. Traffic heading south is not great. Thanks for doing the volleyball run and all the other pickups. That one moment, hug plus gratitude, changes the atmosphere. It turns me versus you into you and me versus this crazy schedule. Later, when she comes back home from church pickups, kids dropped off, friend taken home, still needing to get back out for the volleyball run, I can see the fatigue on her face. Old me would have stayed planted and thought, well, it's you and me till it's you or me. I've done my part. But now sage me says, hey, look, I can go pick her up from volleyball if you need me to. She declines. She's already in that rhythm, just wants to finish it. But I'm pretty sure she appreciated it all the same. The point wasn't who drove the last leg. The point was, I see you, I'm with you, and I'm willing. Same schedule, same chaos. But instead of two people letting the overwhelm pull us apart, we're using sage moments to keep showing up as teammates, whether it's a breath in the car, a 5-second hug at the door, a simple offer of help. That's the sage perspective in marriage. Not a perfectly smooth evening by any means, but a different spin on how you walk through it together. Remember, nothing's going to go according to plan, but how do you want to respond? Let me lay this out side by side for you. Before PQ, the internal script says, I'm doing everything and she doesn't even see it. If she'd just be more organized, this wouldn't happen. The external behavior before PQ is probably a lot of sarcasm, short answers, and talking at each other, not to each other. After bringing in the sage perspective, the internal script completely flips. Hey, we're both carrying a lot. Hey, this is hard on her too. We are on the same team, and I couldn't be happier to have you as a teammate. The external behavior with the sage comes with a calm voice, probably a little sarcasm too, and that's okay because now she takes it differently. Questions instead of accusations. How can we handle this together? Nothing about the schedule got easier. What changed was how we saw each other. On those busy nights, there are some simple phrases that can almost always come from saboteur mode. You always leave this to the last minute. That's me, by the way. You never help with the driving. I guess I'm the only adult in the house. I don't care how right you are. Those sentences pour gasoline on a fire. Sage communication sounds more like this. When this all piles up at once, I feel overwhelmed and alone. Hey, can we figure this out together? It also sounds like this. I'm noticing our evenings are getting pretty packed. How are we feeling about our schedule? Or, can you help me understand what today felt like for you before the night even started? You can hear the sage powers in there. Empathize, assuming your spouse is doing their best. Explore, getting curious before you start to make conclusions. Navigate, asking what actually matters most here. And activate, take one small, clear step together. One tool I love here is called a pause pact. This is something you and your wife can agree on ahead of time, preferably when you're not in conflict. It sounds like this. Hey, when things get tense, especially on crazy nights, either of us can call a pause for 30 to 60 seconds. No one storms off, no one lectures. We just breathe, reset, and then come back together as teammates. In practice, it might look like this. You feel things escalating. You say, hey, I'm getting pretty revved up here. Can we take 30 seconds to breathe and then figure this out? And then you literally just stop talking, close your eyes or soften your gaze, take 3 to 5 slow breaths, maybe even hold hands if you can. Then one of you asks a sage question. Okay, what's really bothering each of us right now? What's one way we can support each other tonight? In all of this, you're just building a tiny space where the Holy Spirit can just get a word in edgewise. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 2-3 says, be completely humble and gentle, be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. Notice it doesn't say keep the unity of the schedule. It says the unity of the Spirit. Your calendar might be full. Your evenings might be nuts for this season. But in the middle of that, God is inviting you to practice patience, gentleness, and unity with each other. The sage perspective in marriage is simply cooperating with that. Seeing your spouse as your partner, not your problem. Seeing your conflict as a chance to grow together, not proof you're failing. If you want to take this even deeper, here's a simple weekly rhythm that you can try. 10 to 15 minutes once a week, maybe on a Sunday evening. Sit down with your wife and walk through 3 questions. What felt heavy for you this week with the kids' schedules and activities? Where did we accidentally slip into saboteur mode? What's one sage-led change we can try this week? You're not trying to redesign your life in one conversation. You're using the sage perspective to turn tension into data and data into better decisions. This is exactly the kind of work I do with men in my coaching and in my Positive Legacy Academy. We're taking real-life pressure points and using them as a training ground for sage-based leadership in marriage and at home. Let me leave you with one very specific challenge. Think about your busiest evening this week, the one you're already dreading. Again, for us, it's always Wednesdays. On that day, though, before things kick off, take 60 seconds alone. Do a PQ rep. Say a prayer. Lord, help me see my wife as my teammate tonight. At some point that evening, affirm your wife as your partner, even if things get chaotic. Hey, I see how much you're juggling. Thanks so much. We're in this together. What's one thing I can take off your plate tonight? If tensions rise, and they probably will, experiment with a pause pack moment, even if she doesn't know what you're calling it yet. Hey, look, just give me 30 seconds to breathe, and we can figure this out together. Afterwards, when things are quiet, take the time to reflect. Where did my saboteurs show up? Where did my sage show up? What changed even slightly in how we handled all this craziness? I said it in last week's Sage Minded Kids podcast. You're already doing the most important part. You're in the arena with your wife. You're not watching your marriage from the stands. Marriage under pressure isn't about eliminating all tension. It's about learning together to let tension drive you toward teamwork instead of drive that wedge. Remember, in all things, you're either growing together or you're growing apart. Every time you pause instead of pounce, or you listen instead of lecture, and you ask, how can we handle this as a team? You're shaping not just your evenings, you're shaping the kind of marriage your kids are watching and they're learning from. I always tell guys, be the father you want your daughters to want to marry, and be the father that your sons want to emulate. If you want to keep growing these skills, I host a free live webinar on the 4th Wednesday of every month called Becoming a Calm and Steady Leader at Work and Home. We talk about how to lead your marriage, parent your kids, and show up at work with clarity and composure. We go deeper into exactly what we talked about today and practice real life scenarios together. And if what you heard today resonates, I ask you to share this with another dad who needs hope. If you want to go even deeper, check the show notes for more information on my Positive Legacy Academy. That's my signature program that helps men like you do all the things we talked about today. As you look at the week ahead, on which busy day are you willing to practice seeing your wife as a teammate, using the sage perspective to turn tension into teamwork? Hey, thanks for listening, and stay tuned next week for a special episode.